Since August 2023, I've embarked on a journey that many might find unconventional, but has proven to be incredibly enriching for me. Living out of my car was a choice driven. I don't know if he meant to do that pun, but I like it. Living out of my car was a choice driven by desire for financial freedom and has exceeded my expectations in every single way possible. Okay,
you know what? The last two viewer mailbags have really gone in a different direction than I expected them to, and I love that.
They really have, dude. They really have.
You're finding the good ones, Dom.
Dude, we're locking in this week, dude. Alrighty, so my decision to simplify my living situation was primarily financial, as it would make sense. I wanted to break free from the cycle of paycheck to paycheck living, and living in my car has allowed me to do just. Far from feeling constrained, I've discovered that a life of abundance where financial stress and anxiety are things of the past. A significant part of my motivation came from listening to the Five Guys podcast. I appreciate that. I do. Woo, 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 woo.
I don't know how I feel about the message that someone thought that we were telling them to live in a car in order to.
I mean, you were cheering 2 seconds ago, but I agree.
I thought about it.
I
thought about it slightly farther. It's okay. Let's keep going.
You know, but hold on. I've read this story a little bit, and it's a good story. It's a good story. I swear. So
okay.
Which has opened up my eyes to new perspectives on financial independence and intentional living. That sounds like us. Us. Your insights have helped me realize that living simply could lead to a richer and more fulfilling life. Very Buddhist of you.
Okay, I'm good. I feel good about that.
Yeah, we're solid on that. Tracking every expense and income meticulously throughout 2024 has been eye-opening to say the least. In the first 6 months alone, my total expenses amounted to $7,791, averaging less
than,
right?
Your cost of living is so low.
Averaging less than $1,300 per month. This frugality has enabled me to save nearly $19,000 over the same period. Setting aside almost $3,200 a month, this level of savings would have been unthinkable in my previous circumstance. Not bad. Living rent-free out of my car has not only been financially liberating, but also had a profound effect on my mental and physical well-being. I found peace and contentment in a lifestyle that many perceive as bleak. But for me, it's been quite the opposite. An exhilarating and cost-effective way to live, really. This journey has taught me that abundance isn't measured by possessions or conventional living standards. It's about reclaiming control over one's finances, lives, and choices. Living in my car has been a monumental step towards realizing that life is filled with financial security and personal fulfillment. The proof is quite literally lies in the substantial savings I've accumulated. With gratitude and new clarity, from in my car I've come so far, for with no rent to pay, my savings slay.
Boom.
I like that.
That was a good one.
I like that. Dude, I'm telling you, maybe we just let's go live in the car. Let's run it up. Telling you, I wouldn't mind a little camping trip. Could be cool.
You know, when I was a kid and my parents, you know, when you're a kid, you're like, I'm running away and I'm never going to come back. And me and my sister, we would go into our garage and then sleep inside the car.
That's awesome.
And it was so much fun. It was like camping.
It is a lot of fun.
You know, the way I think about this when I'm reading this is, we talked about it earlier. It's all about the contrast and like who you're comparing yourself to. So if you're someone who's living in a car, remember like back in the day where it's like, if you don't go to school, get a college degree, like you're going to be in a van down by the creek.
Yeah.
And now with van life, it's like living in a van down by the creek is like an aspiration.
Dude, that's the goal.
Want, that's the goal. Like if I could have a van and live down by the creek and not work, that's the goal. And this guy's fucking done it. Like, and I do want to preface this.
Mm-hmm.
Personal finance is personal.
Yep.
If you're someone listening to this, you're like, that's the stupidest thing in the world. That's why I was kind of worried at the beginning. Like, I don't want to be the person telling people you have to cut out the coffee, you have to cut out eating, you have to do all these things.
Yep.
No, like that's not me. You do whatever brings you the most happiness in this life. But also you have to find that balance. And we talked a lot about, I think it was episode 34, we talked about minimalism. And I think that maybe he's referencing that podcast in specific in this one. And also the podcast, on, what was it? Your Money or Your Life, I think it was the one we talked about, or Die with Zero. We talked about Die with Zero. He's probably talking about both those too. And I mean, that's so cool. You guys average down to $1,300 a month. He's saving $20,000 a year. And I don't know how old he is, but depending on his age, he might be able to save enough money to be Coast-Fi. And Coast financial independence means you have enough money in your accounts, and we just apply the rule of 72 to it. And we can say, like, I don't know, if I have $100,000 when I'm 30 years old and I don't retire until I'm 65 or let's say 70, well, that's 100 goes to 200 by the time we're 40, 200 goes to 400 by the time we're 50, 500 goes to a million by the time we're 60, 1 million goes to 2 million by the time we're 70. And that's only with an average rated compound of 10% or 7%. So he might be able to set himself up for that. But I also want to preface you with also be careful on this frugality thing. Don't think that living frugally makes you a good person, because ultimately at some point things are going to change. Maybe you're going to meet a nice partner and you're going to want to move in with them. And if you're the person saying like, no, I live in my car, you can move in with my car with me. You can recline the driver's seat. I'll recline the passenger seat. It'll be all well and good. It might not work so well. So life is a balance of all times. Right now you're in a cool season, a season that, well, I don't want to live that season that you're in. I respect you for living it. And I think that's super cool. When there was a time in my life where I could have definitely lived like van life, and boy, I will tell you, I was very close. When I was working my sales job and I hated life, I was so into van life because I just wanted the escape. And now that I live a great life of abundance, like I don't want to go back to that. Do I still want a van? Like, yeah, every time I see like a badass like Ram Pro Master or Ford Transit or a Sprinter, I see them, I'm like, that's so cool. Dude, that's the coolest thing.
It's so
cool.
I
see them all the time.
It's so cool.
It's so cool.
It's so freaking cool. Like what I would give, dude. What I would freaking give. Oh man.
Yeah. If someone gave me like just money and they're like, you can go and blow this on anything outside of buying like a property or like an investment, if they said they have to blow on something that's like stupid, I would definitely blow it on that. But then again, I wouldn't want to live in that all the time.
No,
because I have a pretty great life now. Yeah. But there was a time where I was like, I'll take all of it. I'll move to Yosemite and I'll just become a bum and it'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting the shackles we create ourselves willingly. The trade-off, right? You get a girlfriend. Well, now I can't do van life every weekend. You get a wife. She wants to cuddle. Well, we can cuddle in the back of the van. I don't know. You got to find someone. It's weird because oftentimes when we find someone, it's usually opposites attract. Just join me in the van life, huh? Just join. Yeah. Just join.
Maybe you can find a van life lady, Dom, and you guys can live in your van down by the creek.
I wish there was water over here.
I know, right? There's no creek. Yeah, down by Lake Pleasant.
Yeah.
We did a 5 Friday feedback viewer mailbag where someone talked about their parents moving from the Philippines here to America, and they only had like $300,000 to do it. And I remember saying, like, in the Philippines, $300,000 is like, that's a really good living. And someone put in the comments like, so you're telling me with my $300,000 I have in America, I can move to the Philippines right now and live a pretty good life? And I never responded to that person, but in truth, yes, you could. But remember the constraints you have. Now you're no longer in America. Your family is still going to be here. Like, yes, you may be able to no longer have to work, but think about all that you're giving up. Because a lot of us, we think of on the day that I get to live down in the creek by the van, it's going to all be good. I'm not going to have to work anymore. But now your life is filled with new issues like, well, where do I shower? Where am I going to cook my food? Where am I going to do all these things? And yes, there are answers to all this. You can always get a freaking subscription to Planet Fitness and go and shower and work out. And I'm sure that's what this guy does. Like, there's always ways around that. But just because you fix one problem, you also create a new problem. Same thing with, I wish I was Jeff Bezos. I wish I was Elon Musk. I wish I had all that money. Yes, you solve the money problem, but now you have infinitely more problems. And I'm not saying that the money problem isn't bad, because money problems are really bad money problems. But money issues are only fixed, or what? More money only fixes money problems. It doesn't fix all your problems.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth? Well, yeah, I mean, that's congratulations though on saving up that money. Congratulations on finding yourself more. I think it's very important for all young people to find themselves, all people in general, to find themselves. And I don't want to say you're living the dream, but you're living a very good chapter.
You're living your dream.
Yeah, you're living your dream.
And that's what's super cool. I think the biggest thing that I'm getting from this is once you've lived in a van, like once you've done it before and you realize like this is what I'm afraid of, like this is what everyone's so terrified of. I love this.
Yeah.
Now you realize how much you don't need. And now let's think about his cost for financial independence just went down so much.
Mhm.
So if he was making, I don't know, let's see,
He's making good money.
He's probably making pretty good money if he saved up 20. He's probably making $60,000 a year because the first 6 months he's probably making about $60,000 a year. So at $60,000 a year, if he was spending all of that, he would need $1.5 million to call himself financially independent by the rule of the 4% rule.
Mm-hmm.
If he has lowered his cost of living to $20,000 a year, which currently it's around 8,000. So let's just add a little bit more just for cushion.
Mm-hmm.
So if he lowers his cost of living down to $20,000 a year, he only needs $500,000 to quote unquote retire, which saves him $1 million of having to save in order to call himself financially independent. Now, again, life is going to change. I'm sure if you retire saying I only want to make $20,000 a year, that might sound well and good for right now, but $20,000 for the rest of your life might be difficult. But it's just kind of cool to show that you don't need as much as you think you do. And sometimes if you feel good about yourself when you're by yourself, you really don't need a lot. So many people buy and buy and buy, trying to fill up this hole inside themselves, thinking that this next thing will finally be the thing that'll make me feel happy. But I can show you that that's untrue. How many times in your life have you thought that the next thing I get is finally going to make me happy? And are you happy now? The goalpost is constantly moving.
Yep.
It's the idea of the hedonic treadmill. Yep. You are on a treadmill of life.
Congratulations. I'm glad you're listening to the podcast. That means a lot to both Chris and I, and we're glad you're on a good
taking
path.
action, bro.
Actually taking action. We love that.
Not the action I would take, but it is action, and I commend you for it. That's super kick-ass.
Yeah. I wish he would have told like what
kind of
car. Yeah,
I want to know the car.
Yeah, I want to know the car. Like,
really
because are we talking like Subaru Outback, or are we talking like Sprinter van? Right. Sprinter van.
It could be worse. It could be like a Honda Civic or because an Outback's not a bad vehicle.
No, it's not. That's pretty solid. It's got some good room.
That's because you can those seats fold all the way down. That'd be good.
But if you're rocking in like a '96 Corolla, I'm worried.
Yeah, me too.
I'm worried.
I just think it's cool that like the way he's looking at it is so cool because there's other people like I have to live in my car. My life's so tough. Blah blah blah. And this guy's like I'm living. I get to rather than. Yeah, I don't have to. I get to live in my car.
Yep.
I get to live in and all it is that tiny reframe. And the end result's still the same. You're still living in your car. But one person is like lamenting their life and like, oh, nothing can change. The other person's like, bro, this is the greatest thing. I'm saving so much money, having so much fun.
Yep.
Like I get to realize how much I don't need in order to be happy. You know what? We're stopping the podcast. I'm going to go live in my car. Goodbye, everyone.
Dude, that truck, you can convert that. That thing would be nasty.
I've slept in the bed of my truck a few times, and it's been quite nice.
Yeah, heck yeah. Get a nice like camper shell on that thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd get a camper shell because right now it has the backflip on it that like covers the tailgate, and I've slept just inside there, and it's warm enough to sleep inside there with the tailgate like propped open. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've slept in there. I've slept in there a few times.
Yeah, it's a nice truck. Yeah. What year is that truck?
2015.
2015. Is it Ford or Toyota?
Toyota.
Tacoma.
Yep.
Gotcha. VIN number?
Good.
Just kidding.
VIN number, registration, license.
License, proof of insurance.
Social security number, maiden name.
Okay. Well, thanks for writing into the Five Guys. We are very appreciative of it and hope to see you again. And maybe in the comments. I mean, it doesn't seem like you need much help from us, but
in the comments, tell us what vehicle it is.
Yeah,
that's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. What vehicle is? That's all I want to know.
Please.
This video podcast is sponsored by Monzon Wealth. The content in this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. We do not endorse specific products or services. Past performance does not guarantee future results. The opinions expressed are those of the host and guests, not the podcast sponsor. It is crucial to consult with a qualified financial advisor or professional who can provide advice tailored to your specific needs before making any financial decisions, investments, or taking any other actions. If you are seeking specified help, you can reach out to Chris at monzonwealth.com.